Good Monday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with this live update. Taking a look here at the current Doppler radar imagery across the region. You do see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Nothing really significant right now, but we do have some significant weather advisories in play here. And when you hear the word significant in terms of those weather advisories, we're talking about storms below severe limits, more like what you generally get this time of year. Could be a little hazardous, but not too dangerous. So we're talking about parts of Clay, Duval, and some of those, Hamilton as well. So let's go ahead and pop up our other radars to be able to get a little bit better vantage point on what is happening here with this action at this hour. You do see we have some thunderstorm action here as we get into southern Duval County, looking toward northern Clay. I know we had some thunder rumbles in the Stark area here recently, but right now it seems like activity this northern Stark not as strong as it was, and that's some good news. Now as we look out toward Jasper and Hamilton County, you see some wind energy here, but it's not too significant either, so that's some good news. We're going back over to the Duval activity here. That might be the most significant wind energy we have in our area right now. Not far from Lakeside and Orange Park, but that is not too close really to severe limits, it doesn't seem. So that's some good news. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning earlier as we got down toward Flagler County, but that didn't seem to be too noteworthy. The worst report out of that was some pea-sized hail, and that's below severe limits. So that's some good news, but we always have to remain on guard for that lightning this time of year. You don't have to have a warning for that lightning threat. You just have to remember when thunder roars, you want to go indoors. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of the rain chances. That'll be pretty high here this week as well. But another one thing we want to talk about, another topic we want to talk about here is the tropics, and unfortunately things starting to heat up, so we'll get in that here in just a few minutes. Right now, let's take a look at some of those weather stem cameras across our area. We'll go ahead and see what conditions do look like here. Our first stop will be the Union County Emergency Management Camera. We'll take you out there toward Lake Butler, and you'll be able to see what's happening there right now. And you see some darker skies there out in the distance, but nothing too significant, as I've emphasized here on this Monday. Now another stop on our tour, the baseball grounds camera into Jacksonville and Duval County. You'll be able to see what is happening there, and things not too significant looking there either as we're looking toward at least part of the screen. Now as we're looking toward the left side of the screen, you kind of see it, the darker skies, but you're seeing some of that sun mixing in with that. And right now again, we're not seeing any severe thunderstorm warnings. Another stop on our tour will take you out to Tallahassee, and you'll be able to see what is happening there right now in toward Leon County. And you see some darker skies there, but the sun also trying to peek through as well, so that's some good news. We'll take you to some of those temperatures here across the region right now, kind of give you some of that perspective here on this Monday. We'll try to see how things are looking here on some of the overall temperature sites there across the viewing circle. And you do see we have 84 in toward Tallahassee, 84 in Gainesville right now, a little cooler Jacksonville, 83. We do also have some really cool temperatures. They're 73 down toward Flagler County, where we had the storms earlier, and areas that haven't even got into any of the stormy activity. Albany at 95 still here as we're getting later into the evening hours. I know this observation here from right before 6 o'clock, but still getting those 90s here in toward that region. Some of these other observations here just in the last few moments toward Camilla, still almost 95, 94.5 is the actual reading there as we get really specific on that side there in toward parts of southwestern Georgia. So kind of interesting to see here some of these different temperature trends. We'll have to watch out for rainfall here as we see the chances even increase a little bit more. But also the tropics, we need to start paying attention here as we're getting into toward the core of hurricane season now. Our tropical climatology kind of tells the story here. You see August 20th on the screen right about there, and we're right before that, and you're seeing things kind of tick on up before we get to that peak there on around September 10th or so. So You just got to be watching what is happening here carefully as things more climatologically favorable, and also we're going to be having to watch here as we have the Madden-Julian oscillation, and that right there is in the enhanced phase, and it's going to have an influence here on some of this action that we're going to see develop in the tropics. We're going to have the conditions more favorable for that action there to form, and those forms to form. So you just have to be really cognizant things coincide. And unfortunately, as we get over toward the tropical weather outlook here, your 5-day cyclone formation probabilities, you do see a 70% chance now of a system. We were watching this coming off of Africa here earlier on. You see the little X here. We're going to be watching this as it does move into this red area where conditions are looking like they're going to be even more favorable for this to evolve here into a tropical cyclone. A little less of a chance for the other tropical cyclone to develop as we get closer toward some of these islands here. You're seeing about a 50% chance here in the next 5 days, but that one, if it were to evolve, it would maybe affect the U.S. a little bit sooner here, as you can kind of tell with the overall timing. Some models actually have both of these developing, and the first system may be striking land somewhere, and the second system coming behind it, so we'll just have to be paying attention here. I don't want to get into too many specifics right now, as the models are all over the place overall, but we'll just have to watch here. Some systems have one strong, or some models have one system stronger, and some models have the other system stronger. So kind of interesting to watch here. The European model, I will kind of give you a little hint at what we're watching here in this, and it may be a little too far north, but we'll just have to watch. If it's further north like this, it might have a tendency to recurve depending on how strong the high pressure is here as we're looking ahead. But model uncertainty is very high. This right here is the one further off toward the east, seeming like it would have a greater chance of affecting the East Coast. The other system, it would be probably a Gulf of Mexico type threat, just based on anything that I've seen so far. But models all over the place. These both could end up affecting areas somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. I think at least one of them more developed, though, if not both of them, with the favorable conditions here in the tropics, things coming together. So we'll have to be paying attention. We'll have to start watching things a little more carefully now. And you just want to have that hurricane kit up to date here as we're starting to get toward that peak season, as I've been talking about and alluding to. As you look at our name list, we already checked off Kyle there, crossed it off the list, as that developed pretty quickly out there off the coast there up toward the mid-Atlantic northeast, and it's already become post-tropical there. We were watching Josephine, also no longer a threat. So that's some good news, but now we have Laura and Marco to start watching potentially. Can't distinguish which one would develop before the other there, so I don't want to name one and then the other one get that name, and that's confusing messes and type scenario, and there's a chance we might only use one of these names here out of these two systems. So we'll just be watching, we'll be monitoring. I'll be here in the Weather Center to give you the latest information. A lot of uncertainty, but we're going to be watching the tropics very carefully. Now, as we bring it back to home, you have that Florida primary election day coming on up tomorrow, and polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you have some p.m. storms expected, so it might be a good idea to try to vote in the morning if you can there. Try to do that. Temperatures a little cooler as well, so that's some good news. But as we get later on in toward the time frame, we'll have to be more likely there to have to be using that umbrella. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. As we look right now at the Doppler radar, we're tracking some of these showers and thunderstorms around right now. So let's go ahead and pop up our radar scope computer. You'll be able to see what is happening across the local area. We're watching the action there toward the Bel Air, Meadowbrook Terrace area, Lakeside as well. So you can kind of see here some of the lightning, some of this wind energy maybe trying to pop out a little bit better than it was a few minutes ago, but still not at severe limits. Another cell here near Interstate 10 and 90 there as we get toward Baker County, and even more action toward White Springs. So we'll watch, we'll monitor things to kind of broaden the view out to see that toward southern Taylor County, toward parts of Lafayette County, we're getting into some of these shower thunderstorm action too. I know there's been some rain around and toward some of those spots today, so we'll be kind of talking about that here in just a moment, how much rain is falling in some of these different areas. I'll come back on camera for the time being. Again, we're watching that forecast for tomorrow. Again, if I were to advise you on the best time there, with the weather conditions being more favorable, I would say use that morning time frame there. Take advantage of the morning time frame. Now, in terms of the overall rain we've seen today now, I want to see the pattern as tomorrow will probably have more coverage to kind of compare and contrast here. This kind of helps to do that as we go over toward our GR Earth computer right now. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. And you see out towards South Georgia, they've already got Folkestone picked up about 2 inches today. As we get there toward some of those roads in southern Georgia, Perry, quite a bit of rain. You can kind of tell their temperature a little cooler. Gilchrist upward to 3 inches, and you see some of this action near Interstate 95 as well. They've seen quite a bit of rain as we get down toward areas like Flagler County, for instance. So kind of interesting to see what is happening here with the overall picture. Now, in terms of any national stories we need to cover, we have some action we're watching here in towards some spots. One area in particular I do want to touch on is near Mobile, at least in their television market area. We are watching some severe thunderstorms not too far away here. It looks like from Wilmer, Alabama. These are just right on that marginal severe type line. Probably 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is what the warning text says. So that's some good news south of Leakesville, Mississippi. Maybe some penny-sized hail mixed in, but just we'd kind of touch on that real quick. We're also watching a threat as we get out toward Oregon, and this isn't something that you have too often. A severe thunderstorm watch now in play as we get out toward parts of Oregon, Idaho, and Washington State. So let's move the map there real quick. We'll take you to some of that action where we have, it looks like some severe conditions as we're looking here west of Boise. So it's a thunderstorm watch in play. Bend, Oregon, in there. You see that community. So they'll be watching this threat as we get out toward, it looks like that's 1 a.m. Eastern time, so 10 p.m. Pacific time, not far away there from some of the other more populated communities as well. So you see Boise there, they're just outside of this severe thunderstorm watch, so something you don't see too often. Threat not extreme, but something to watch as we get up toward the northwest part of the country there, the Pacific Northwest. So that's just one angle we want to touch on of the national picture. One other topic before we get over toward that extended forecast for our Jacksonville, Gainesville area and our Tallahassee, Valdosta area is a look here at the power outage information from poweroutage.us as we do look here toward Iowa, because they had a terrible derecho move through the Cedar Rapids area, and we're a week out from that now, a week past that, and still nearly 70,000 customers without power. So a very dangerous situation there, as some people have had trouble trying to even get oxygen. People that need oxygen, unfortunately, not able to get that in some instances. So trying to find a way there to get it pretty quickly as time, when you're without power, that time really is of the essence there in that scenario. You see, I kind of move the icon around. You see quite a number of power outages in that Cedar Rapids area here. So just going to be monitoring that situation as we're looking up toward Iowa. A week later, still nearly 70,000 customers without power. A wind gust nearly to Category 3 strength there on the hurricane scale, the wind scale that's used called the Saffir-Simpson. So we were getting some very, very strong winds moving on through there, gust to 112 there in that Cedar Rapids area, and that just kind of tells the story. So much damage, so much destruction there in towards Cedar Rapids. So I just wanted to touch on that here. Now will bring me back on camera as we start to wrap the update up. We're going to take you to the local forecast now here and show you what is ahead in the picture. You do see here tomorrow, 70% chance of rain. So again, I want to have that umbrella on hand. We're talking about PM storms, and the chances go up even more as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Fall a little on Friday, but we'll be talking more scattered here maybe tomorrow, but then things become more numerous as we look ahead. You can kind of tell that by those rain chances. Temperatures fall a little too, as we're going to have more likely than not more cloud cover around. And then as we're looking toward that Tallahassee, Valdosta area forecast right now, you do see the overall forecast here does show that we have those rain chances staying high into toward that region as well, and maybe even a drop in temperatures a little bit further as Rain chances could be a little bit higher even as we look toward Friday when you compare and contrast to the Jacksonville-Gainesville region. That pretty much does it here for your Monday. I'll be back over on Twitter. That'll be exclusive to Twitter tomorrow. I also have some super other we need to talk about. The simulcast, the update. We'll be on there in that 6 o'clock time range on that platform. We'll be letting you know the latest on the tropics. Things are starting to heat up there in terms of that scenario, that threat. And if there's anything else we need to touch on again in terms of severe weather, we'll let you know on the various platforms as necessary. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great night.